Okay, here we are. We're going to go on to the ellipse, and the ellipse looks like this. In standard form. So that's, here is in general. Alright, so what does this look like? The command is to graph it, and we're going to graph it by finding our A and our B. If there was a number hooked to this X hugging this X before it was squared and hugging this Y before it was squared, then the center of the ellipse would be different than this one. But this one has no such numbers, so we're going to recognize that the center of this ellipse is 0, 0. So there's an unwritten x minus 0 squared, y minus 0 squared. So I have the center of the ellipse. The rest of the ellipse comes from remembering what A tells us and what B tells us. This number is A squared, so A is 8 and B is 4. So now we go out from the center. When the larger number is under the x squared term, that is a horizontal ellipse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's one, the vertice. And here's another vertice. Then we're going to go up and down 4. And there's our ellipse. So, alright, let's do one from scratch, so to say. And oh, before we leave this is you look at the major axis, which is the longer one. This point and this point on the major axis are the vertices. So the vertices are plus or minus 8, 0. So it can be minus 8, 0 and positive 8, 0. Alright, let's start from scratch, just like we did with the circle, and do this one. X squared plus 4y squared plus 6x minus 8y plus 9 equals 0. Alright, similar to what we saw in the circle, we're going to work toward that standard form from general form by gathering our x and gathering our y. So, putting the x together, leave a space, put the y together, and leave a space. Now I told you or alluded to you that this was an ellipse, but on the test you have to tell me what it is and then graph it. The way you can tell is the term in front of the x squared term and the y squared term have the same sign. They're both positive, but they are different. Like in the circle, they were the same. Alright, so let's go ahead and graph this ellipse by completing the square here, and we get half of 6 is 3 squared, half of minus 8 is minus 4 squared. Alright, so we failed. Epic fail. What did I forget to do over here? This one I didn't have to do it, so I'll just rewrite that. Alright. Remember, we cannot complete the square unless this term in front of the y squared is 1. I'm going to factor out a 4 so that it is a 1. Alright. Now I can come in and complete the square over there. Alright. Half of negative 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. And now I have to adjust for the fact that I added a 9 and I added a 4. So over here, I'm going to get a 4. What's the perfect square that I created? X plus 3, y minus 1 equals 4. Now you recall, in standard form, this has to be a 1. That's not true of the circle. So, true of the ellipse. Divide everything by 4. this disappears and this becomes a 1, and allow me to erase and refill in. You don't do that, make another step, but I'm going to run out of visual board space here. We are now in the standard form. So the center of this ellipse is minus 3, 1 from these numbers, opposite signs, and so I'll go ahead and find a place to graph it. I have lots of room over here in the glare land. So negative 3, 1, that tells me where the center of the ellipse is. This is A is 2, the unwritten 1 tells me B is 1. So from this center I'm going to go left and right 2. That gives me one side of my ellipse. Here's the other. Those are the vertices. And up and down 1 from the B. So, what a cute little ellipse. Alright. So, with that, we will complete our review of ellipse. So, I don't think I used up the whole video spot, but I'll do it by sections, and now we'll do the hyperbola.